All right, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you, Rebecca and Tricia, for hopping on tonight as our climate leaders. We're really excited to have you on. Can't remember if you have seen all three of my colleagues and I on the interview, but if not, no worries. We'll go ahead and just do a quick round of introductions. And then as part of the introductions, we'd like you, both you, Rebecca and Tricia, to kind of just share a little bit about yourself and also answer a and also share the icebreaker or answer the icebreaker questions, but we'll get to that in just a second. Sorry, Jonathan, I see your question in the chat, but I'm not seeing any options for co-hosting.
Maybe what you can do, William, is click next to our box, and under that box, it should have an option to choose as a...
I only see make host or rename. I don't see an option to make co-host, but I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure.
Okay. So we'll have to work on it behind this.
Okay.
It probably do with admin through the browser through there.
Okay. So we'll go ahead. So I'll just go ahead really quickly and introduce myself, and then I'll pass it off to Jonathan and Bianette. So I'm William Metzenberg. I am the program manager at Public Health Advocates for the TCC Stockton Rising program. I'm very excited to be part of this team and working with you both as climate leaders for the next, I think, 18 months as we engage with the community. And so my pronouns are he and him. And with that, I'll pass it off to Jonathan.
Thank you, William. Jonathan Pruitt. I am the Environmental Justice Program Coordinator at Catholic Charities, Diocese of Stockton. And I am here to support the community engagement and the climate leaders portion of the TCC process. And I'll turn it over to Bianette.
Hello, everyone. Bianette Perez, she, her, ella pronouns. I'm the program manager with Little Manila Rising, specifically overseeing the youth advocates cohort, who are also working on part of the TCC project. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it back to William, or are we tossing it to the climate leaders?
Yeah, so we'll pass it off to either Rebecca or Tricia. I know that Tricia had called me prior to this meeting saying she may not be able to orally speak, but I told her that if she wants to participate, definitely to put her responses in the chat. But with that, we'll go to Rebecca first. And so Rebecca, if you could just tell us, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about your background. And once you do that, I'll ask the icebreaker question.
Good evening. My name is Rebecca Douglas. I am a owner of a Platt boutique, both indoor, outdoor. I'm known around Stockton as the Platt Doctor. I have an extensive background in management, retail, as well as fast food. Some knowledge of a little bit of the weather, and I also work with El Concilio, and I'm a member of the African American Chamber as well.
Awesome, thank you so much. So the icebreaker question that I have for you is, what is one personal accomplishment and one climate leader accomplishment that you'd like to achieve in 2022?
My one personal accomplishment is to, I'm looking to expand my business and bring on a couple of employees. For the climate control is to really learn all I can, because I'm going to be working in the community gardening boss track. So I want to understand the climate and the weather and how it affects our garden where we grow food for people.
Awesome, thank you so much. Tricia, if you're able to just introduce yourself and tell us a little about yourself, and then I'll go ahead and put the question in the chat, the icebreaker question in the chat as well. Trisha, are you there? Just want to make sure. All right, no problem. No problem. We have another one of our CLs hop on, Juelian. So Juelian, we're just doing a quick round of introductions. And so if you're able to just tell us really quickly about yourself, your background, and then I will put the icebreaker question in the chat. And so feel free to answer that after you give your response.
Hey y'all, my name is Julian Johnson. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm currently a student at Berkeley. I'm also living in Stockton. I've done a decent amount of like community work within some of the nonprofits, mainly focusing on criminal justice work with others like the ACLU, but very nice to be in the room and learning from y'all. And then the personal accomplishment that I'd like to achieve, I think more so being able to build up enough knowledge so that like at the end of this, I can say that like there's something that I can take away and also build for a project that's sustainable long-term within the community.
All right, awesome, thank you. And then I just want to make sure if folks are comfortable, if you could just share your screen really, or show your camera really quickly, just so we have a we can connect face to name. I don't want to like, I know that we'll probably end up talking about this at our next meeting, me, Jonathan, and Bionette about requiring, but I think just for this first meeting, it'd be great just to see everyone's faces really quickly, just so we know, just so everyone can feel acclimated, get acclimated with one another. Of course, that's if you're comfortable or you're in a space that you can show your camera. If not, we can go forward.
For sure. I just go home. If y'all give me like 3 minutes, I promise I'll have my camera on.
Okay, for sure. No problem. Okay, so with that, Trisha, I just want to give you one more opportunity to just introduce yourself. And if not, if you're not able to do it through your audio, then definitely feel free to put it in the chat. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on our program. So I'm going to go and share my screen really quickly. Just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and pass off the baton to Jonathan, who's going to give us a quick introduction over the TCC and Stockton Rising program.
Great. Thank you, William. Hello, everyone. Glad you guys have been able to get acquainted with a little bit of your cohort. You guys are going to get a lot closer, so feel free, hopefully during this time you're able to feel the excitement. I know I am, and this is really a stage for you to learn and also take to your community. So always feel free, if there's something that we need to work on, or if there's something that needs to be clarified, feel free to stop us at any time so we can provide more guidance or provide more information on that. So here we have the very first day, the Stockton Rising Climate Leaders Orientation. This is a program from the city of Stockton. I believe in the next slide, it goes more in depth. If you could please, William. Thank you. So the Stockton Rising is a program, and it is run by the city and its partners that seeks to achieve major environmental health and economic benefits through 7 projects and 4 transformative plans. So this is a little bit different. This is a sort of a program that the state is looking at that tries to tie in threefold, both environmental and health, and then also the economic benefits through a project or through a city where you can build a green economy while also in environmental and health benefits. The state, Stockton Rising, is funded by the Transforming Climate Communities Program, which is administered by the California Strategic Growth Council, or SGC. And just for you guys are aware, in the future, we will have acronyms, but the acronyms will be laid out, will be read out, and they will be typed out in the future. And it is supported by the California Department of Conservation. Next slide, please. So this is a map. This is the map of the Stockton Rising project area. It is approximately 5 square miles. It does, because it's a city pocket, it goes around sort of the county pocket areas. That's why it looks a little up and down a little bit, but it's because we do have areas that are in the county pockets. But this is where this project area is located, majority of it being in South Stockton and hitting a little bit of downtown Stockton. Because you applied this program, you live in this boundary zone, which is great. If we go into the next slide, which will go more into depth about where we're looking at. So this map indicates a map that we will discuss later in the future in your training on the CalEnviro screen. And the CalEnviro screen is really a tool that the state uses that provides sort of guidance on what constitutes as a disadvantaged community. And automatically we can see that the Stockton Rising project area is ranked highest in disadvantaged community in the state of California. It's ranked 91 to 100th percentile. And we'll go more into depth on the implications, the variables, and the measurements that go into that. But just do know that this is why this is important for the Stockton Rising project area being in South Stockton. Next slide, please. This is your TCC community engagement team. So you're going to see a lot of us throughout this process. So we're proud, we're thankful to be part of this process. And please rely on us as your guys' teachers for this. And we do have our contact information in there. And we do provide sort of our logos of our respective organizations that we work with. Next slide, please. And as part of the TCC community engagement team, we are also required to provide, we are also to provide deliverables or do deliverables, and these deliverables of course are the following: leading the community engagement team or the community engagement plan, which involves a community engagement team, coordinate community engagement activities, such as the Community Coalition bi-monthly meetings, which is open to Stockton residents, coordinate events open to the general public to celebrate, facilitate community feedback and share resources and educate. And lastly, develop a process to recruit, appoint, and train residents from the project area to serve as resident representatives on the steering committee, working group, and community coalition. Next slide, please. And I'll turn over to William.
All right, thank you, Jonathan. Great presentation. So really quickly, I'll just give an overview of what the climate leaders for Stockton Rising will look like. And so what is a climate leader? A climate leader is a resident of the project area who is passionate about the betterment and wellness of their neighborhood. They're going to be organized, responsible, well-known, and a trusted community member interested in learning along with facilitating learning spaces for their neighborhood. A critical component of this project is partnering with residents to improve access to healthy foods, quality transportation, air and water, along with creating learning opportunities and energy-saving resources. And as part of being a climate leader, you will receive a $350 monthly stipend for your service. Some of the responsibilities will include participating for the duration of the Stockton Rising program, which is the next approximate 22 months, attend roughly bi-weekly or weekly trainings, assist with conducting monthly neighborhood meetings, keeping neighbors informed about Stockton Rising projects, and reporting directly to Stockton Rising's community engagement team lead, which is going to be me. Some of the requirements for being a climate leader is being a resident of the TCC project area, as Jonathan described, having community service, leadership, or volunteer experience. You have an interest in learning along with facilitating learning spaces in the community, and you're passionate about the betterment and wellness of your community. And so we are looking for to have a cohort of 10 folks in. Currently, we only have 5, and so we really hope that you may know another individual who lives in your zip code who may be a great fit for being a climate leader. And so we've extended our deadline out to February 1st. And so again, we're looking for folks who live in the following zip codes: 95202, 95203, 95205, and 95206. And you must have community service, leadership, or volunteer experiences. And we hope that you'll be able to share this with your connections or your community, neighbors, partners, friends, family, anyone you can think of who fit this criteria. And so to help us with finding additional climate leaders, you will be receiving a copy of this flyer in your emails after this meeting. All right, with that, I think I pass it off to Bianet now.
All right, so just as we kind of went over what the role as a climate leader is, we kind of wanted to go over like what to expect in the next couple of weeks as a climate leader. And so starting off with kind of our upcoming sessions and trainings, we currently have the following dates set out. Of course, today is kind of our first part 1 kind of orientation session. And then on Saturday, we're going to have our historic tour from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And I'll go a little bit more into detail on some of the logistics for that. And then we will also be doing kind of a part 2, which is going to delve into more specifics and details and logistics, kind of to onboard you all into our team as part of our community engagement team. And so expect that to be the week of February 2nd through the 4th. We will be sending out a doodle poll to you all to kind of figure out what the cohort's availability is and just figuring out what time and date works for everyone moving forward. And so that's why it's kind of to be decided. Once we kind of finish today's meeting, you all will be receiving that via email from William. So that's one thing that you should be on the lookout for. And so once we have those logistics out, we will be having kind of weekly training sessions or bi-weekly training sessions. And a lot of those trainings will include kind of familiarizing yourself with the different projects that are within the Stockton Rising program, meeting partners as well within this and that are involved in this type of work. We'll also be learning kind of climate justice issues, whether that's like air quality, water, all these different things. And then of course, we'll be kind of exploring leadership development as well as part of kind of the training sessions that you all be engaging in. And so we'll be finalizing a lot of those logistics as we kind of get all this information from you all, because we definitely want to also check in with you all to see what are some of the things that you want to explore as you engage in this program. And so we want to make sure to incorporate that. And so with that being said, you all will also be receiving what we call a pre-survey questionnaire. And it'll just kind of ask you a couple questions to kind of get to know you, and also again, get to know where you are in your level of understanding all these different issues. And it's okay if you don't have a lot of experience in environmental justice. It's just kind of to gauge right where we're at. And then at the end, we hope to also gauge where you are after learning all these different issues. And so again, the survey will also kind of ask questions about what are some of the topics that you hope to explore or learn more about, things like that. And if there's anything or any questions you have about the questionnaire, like let us know. But again, all of these things that I'm mentioning, we're going to make sure to share with you all after today. And so with that, we are going to be using Google Groups as our way to communicate with you all, to kind of share out any upcoming meetings, events, or opportunities that we may come across that maybe you want to engage in. And so be on the lookout for a Google Groups invitation, as that will be our current communication platform until we kind of figure out what the best platform will be for the cohort. So I know that was a lot in just a couple seconds, so I'll just see if anybody has any questions so far. If not, I'll go ahead and move into kind of this Saturday's session. Any questions so far? I don't think I see anything in the chat. Okay, next slide. Perfect. All right, so for this Saturday, as I mentioned, we're going to be doing a Little Manila historic site. This is going to be a hybrid session from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you will be participating or able to participate in the in-person site, the location is 32 to South Center Street. And so we also have instructions on like where it's ideal to park. And just if you are participating in person though, we do ask that you provide like proof of vaccination or a negative test within 72 hours of the event. There's kind of a couple protocols that we'll be having for anybody who joins us in person. And then we also, if you're joining in person, we suggest you wear a mask. We encourage you to dress warmly and comfortable shoes, as it'll be not too long of a tour. It's kind of a street that we're going to be exploring. But again, these are just suggested for those that are able to join us in person. However, like I said, this is a hybrid session, so we will be having kind of that option if you're unable to join us in person to join us via Zoom. So again, there's two options for you to join, whether it's in person or also virtually through Zoom. And to participate in this, we're also going to be asking you all to fill out like an orientation form just to verify if you'll be joining us in person or virtually. So any questions about this Saturday? Nope. Okay. Go ahead and next slide. All right. So in terms of next steps, just like a refresher on some of the things that you will be asked to complete. One will be the doodle poll to figure out what date and time works for everyone for our sessions moving forward. A photo release form, and then the pre-survey questionnaire, and then lastly, the Little Manila orientation tour form. The Little Manila orientation tour form, we ask that if you can complete that by tomorrow, it would be greatly appreciated. And then everything else, I believe by Saturday, right, William, is kind of the date that we're looking to complete all these forms. And again, all of this will be sent to you after this meeting via email. And if you have any questions about any form in particular, like let us know, or if you don't have access to any of that. But before I pass it on, is there any questions or anything, William or Jonathan, that I might have missed? No? Okay. All right. So questions. No questions. How's everyone feeling?
Excited.
Yeah, we're excited too. Or maybe let's go around if everyone's cool with like maybe one word. I know everyone can just start excited, like a one word, how they're feeling. I'm feeling thrilled, so that's my word.
I'm feeling pumped.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. That's more than one word, but yeah.
I'm definitely excited.
Yeah. So we're definitely really excited to have you all join us, and we're really excited because you're essentially joining us in the community engagement team, and we'll be definitely learning a lot more from one another and creating all this amazing, creating amazing events and things that we'll be creating together, and finding ways to engage our community. So it's really exciting. And so with that, I'm actually going to pass it back to William.
All right, awesome. So thank you so much, Bianette and Jonathan, for joining me tonight and helping conduct this first orientation training. So for those of you who are watching the recording, thank you for making it this far. Greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch. With that, I'll go ahead and stop sharing my screen and end the recording. How do I do that? All right.